Salam people, welcome to another fresh episode of Wiki Techie. Today is a very special day because today we complete our 50th episode of Wiki Techie. It's been an amazing journey so far. We've had some really cool reviews. We had some really cool Channel D exclusives for this particular season. So I hope you're enjoying so far. Now let's move on with our 50th episode of Wiki Techie. So starting with our first product for the day, it's of course taking quite a lot of space, but this, guys, is honestly the most compact laptop in the world. Now this is a Channel D exclusive. Nobody else has actually got to review this product. We've just got back from the Asus event where they launched this one laptop, but apart from that they also launched some few laptops which we will check out in the news segment. Let's get into this particular Asus ZenBook because it has some really cool features, but let's see what's in the box. So what we have, we've got the manual, and apart from that you've got a charging dock, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, you have quite an interesting charging dock actually, because this is really compact and it's meant for the UAE. So keeping in mind this is exclusively a Channel D launch. Again, they've really taken care of this market and have a 3-pin plug in there. But there's also some other cool features which I'm going to take you through. And quite interestingly, you have a wireless LAN converter as well, so you can put it through USB because that's what you need for these particular laptops. So that's quite interesting. Apart from that, let's get into the box. We're going to keep this aside, and before we actually do that, go check back on this video and then we're going to take you through the features on this Asus ZenBook. Okay, so there's one thing that we missed out in this particular box is you can see there's an In Search of Incredible there. That is quite interesting because what we have here hidden is a pouch. So you actually get a pouch with the laptop. So it's a laptop case, which is quite interesting. Helps protect the whole body. So let's check out. So let's start with the back of this particular Asus ZenBook. What I love is that it's got, of course, a brilliant royal blue color to it. Like you can see there, it's got rose gold trims, which of course is very interesting because we're going to get into the detail once we enter into the laptop. So that's quite an interesting back of the laptop. If you go towards the outers, percent is quite high, but there's another Asus model which hopefully we should have on our show. If the guys want to get them to review here, that is 95% screen to body ratio. So these guys are really, you know, pushing some boundaries on taking this technology to a different level. So yeah, so it's quite interesting. So the 92%, back to the Asus ZenBook, 92% screen to body ratio, quite interesting. And what else do we have? We're going to get into the features, but before that, most important thing, guys, that really blew my mind and that I've been hyping about since the beginning of the show. Again, keeping in mind this is a Channel D exclusive. Let me show you something awesome about the trackpad. Now you see the trackpad right there, right? See what happens when I press a button. Do you see that, guys? That is insane. This is not just being smart, but also making the best use of available space. Now that keypad right there was something that just blew my mind. I mean, it's not something that you see most keypads, right? Especially in 13 and 14 inches, there's not much space to have a keypad anywhere there. So they've actually put a keypad within the trackpad. Now that's so cool, you know, and just with the flip of a button right there, so you just switch and toggle on whenever you toggle it off and stuff like that. It's really seamless, and the trackpad honestly is super responsive. So I really like that. The build quality is amazing. I mean, if I have to say, it's a really sturdy material. And if I have to also talk to you about something that's going to happen in the coming episodes, if I'm going to get an Asus on board with one of the ROGs, they're all military grade in terms of protection. So you can drop them, you can stomp on them, and they still survive. It's quite interesting, keeping in mind getting a military grade kind of an certification for the laptops. So again, moving on to that, I'm just talking about all the other laptops that I've seen today. It's quite interesting, a lot to take in, but this is one of the best laptops. This one again is military grade, so like I said, quite sturdy in terms of its making. You could actually stomp on this. I could actually drop it down. It's a good weapon, but not for mass destruction, but for you know, having a lot of information from this particular laptop. So there's quite a lot to do with this particular laptop. Let me show you some of the things that could be different from most other laptops, because these are quite highlights that you really need to know. So let's start from this side. We have got, of course, you've got the DC in jack right there for your charging. You've got an HDMI, which is brilliant. You've also got a USB port, and this is most important, you've got a USB-C. So this is, of course, following the latest trend of USB-C being one of the most important features. But let me tell you one thing, this comes with a caution. You do not have a Thunderbolt 3 on one of the USB-Cs with the laptop. So that's something that might take you a little back. But I mean, honestly, I think this particular thing just does the job. You know, you really need this kind of a laptop. So yeah, moving on to the other side, something really different, this one. Of course, you've got your mic right there. So you've got an audio jack. And you've got again another USB. So you've got two USB ports, which is brilliant. You need two, right? 2 or 3, 4. Sometimes you just use an extender, go up to 5. And a memory card reader. Now this is not a normal memory card reader. It's not a full size MMC. It's basically a mini memory card reader. So if you're using your GoPros, you're using Osmos, you're using, I mean, which of the devices I've reviewed right here, except for the Canon, if you're using the mini memory cards, you can just put them right in there. You don't need an extender anymore. You don't need a adapter anymore. So that's quite interesting. So a lot of productivity you see right there, right? Again, now, most of the laptops that come of this size kind of get something wrong. And that is basically the placement of the webcam. The Dell, the Lenovo, they have a bit of an issue with, you know, their placement of the webcam. Even the Huawei. Although I have not reviewed it on this show, I've of course been at the Huawei launch, which basically showed about and spoke about the camera. So that's something that I want to bring about. So let's go through that right now. So talking about the webcam, guys, this is amazingly fit well, 92% screen to body ratio, but still getting a webcam on there. I give Asus, 5 to 10 gold stars on that particular placement. Of course, on the keypad, that's of course quite a highlight, but this is quite interesting. Now, coming back to Dell, Huawei, I've seen their laptops. I've been at the launch of the Huawei. I've seen the Huawei laptop as well. Now, the placement of the webcam isn't quite consumer friendly. That's what I feel, because it just points somewhere on my neck or something. I mean, of course, you can move around with the laptop's positioning, but still, you know, it needs to be a little consumer friendly. And I feel Asus are really giving that kind of concentration, you know, from a consumer point of view. So that's quite interesting in terms of it. Also, you can actually unlock the keypad with face recognition. One thing really important, any light conditions that you are in, this laptop will still unlock if at all. You've got your face registered on there. So that's quite interesting with this laptop, any kind of light conditions. Even if it's dark, super dark, it's still going to open. That's quite interesting. Now, apart from all of this, guys, This one of course will have the high-end performance, but you need to understand one thing right here is the technology that Asus uses is something that's really cool. And when I say cool, it's basically a quiet fan cooling system that you have in there. So that's quite interesting because you can't really listen to the fan, because most of these laptops nowadays you can actually see them go like when you're doing some really high performance on this. So if you're playing games, things like that, you'll hear you'll actually hear the fan. So this has a quiet cooling fan, so you can actually play games in a library without anyone knowing, if at all you got a headset on. And one of the most important things is also the performance of this particular laptop. The battery life on there is said to be about 14 hours, but if I have to be very realistic with this particular laptop, let's say about 10 to 11 hours also in terms of high performance. I mean, that's just being honest out there, right? It's 10 to 11 hours if at all you're using it really crazily, which is still good for a laptop of this kind. And I mean, keeping in mind, if I'm traveling, I mean, the size is just perfect. I mean, it could fit on my table right in the flight. Wouldn't actually bulge out. Also, it's perfect size. And I really like it. I mean, it's really compact, and honestly, I think Asus are doing a brilliant job by getting all of this. And let me show you a bit on the screen as well so that you can see exactly how the lighting is there. I mean, there you go. I mean, you can see how the screen is. Screen is quite interesting. You've got a 4K screen in this particular category as well, which is quite interesting the way you have your display. I like this one. This is pretty cool the way it is. I mean, I'm just still registering this, so that's the reason you have the registration right there. But I mean, in terms of all the features that you have on this particular laptop, I really like that they've taken really good care in terms of the consumer perspective, in terms of its usage. Coming back to the battery, like I said, 10 to 11 hours. The battery is one of the best technologies that they have right now as well, because you can have up to 60% of battery life on a 30-minute charge. That for me is amazing. I mean, this is something that's really cool that they've taken that to a different level again. So yeah, I mean, I think overall this laptop has actually done quite a lot of wonders in the way they've created it, the way they've done collaborations with Harman Kardon specifically. That also is quite interesting because they're paying attention to most important thing, 5 things that I believe is really important in laptop: display, the sound, the performance, the efficiency, and last but not the least, these kind of keypad, playing around with the minimal size, right? Having that keypad in there. Although I don't use the keypad as such, but having that in there is quite convenient and it's quite cool to show off as well. So yeah, do check out the Asus ZenBook, guys. This is the latest release. Like I said, a Channel D exclusive for Wikideki. And I really thank you guys at Asus for being able to lend this to us. And hopefully we will be doing the Rogue, the whole Rogue series, hopefully cool, because I mean, I love the technology that's behind it, the kind of stuff that they have. So guys, I hope you like the Asus ZenBook. Do check it out online as well. We're going to be having an exclusive video that I'll be doing on Hammy Vlogs, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be the first look, and yeah, let's see how this goes. Okay guys, so moving on to the second product of the day. This is very important that, I mean, you have a mobile, of course, but keeping in mind when you travel outside and you have kids with you. Now, I'm a parent of a 2-year-old, and it's important to have something to keep them busy, right? Most of us have toys, we do activities with our children, also books, but at times you have to probably give your mobile out for them to watch something on the mobile. Now, it's really important that you also have control on the kind of content that you're showing your kids. This is really important. As parents, you got to be a little responsible on that, and I'm sure most of you all are, but there are apps that actually make life a little more easier. And now that's the reason I want to talk to you about the second product, which is an app on your mobile called YouTube Kids. This goes on as YT Kids on the Android and iOS platform. Quite an interesting app, launched earlier in about 2015, 2016. Quite important to have on your mobile, especially when you've got toddlers around, because the content that you show on YouTube, right, it's basically customized as per your behavior. And it's really important that when you share something of that sort, when you give your mobile out to your kids, you probably might not have control on the kind of stuff that they swipe on. I mean, my 2-year-old knows to exactly swipe through the kind of videos he wants to look at, and that's because my settings is set on as per his requirement and not on mine. So that makes things a little more easier. But what really changed our lives was YT Kids, because YouTube Kids actually has control on the time that you really want to show the content to your child for. So you can actually set a timer. Most importantly, it can only be unlocked by an adult because they ask you mathematical solutions before you switch on the app. So that's quite interesting and really important for us as parents. We really need to be responsible on the kind of stuff that we really want. You can block a lot of videos that you really feel that shouldn't be exposed to your kids at this point based on their age. I mean, honestly, children learn a lot from these kind of videos, especially it's something that they might not even get at a nursery, you know. So it's quite interesting. They learn things before their age, advance, get a lot of knowledge about the kind of stuff like alphabets and all the shuck doo-doo songs and stuff like that. So you've got all of these things, and the YT Kids app actually gives you that kind of control. So like I said, timer, blocking few videos if at all you want to. The search is quite extensive, but it keeps content only important to kids, so you will not see any kind of other content that's not necessarily needs to be there on that app. For that you have YouTube. Apart from that, you also have few really important things like I mean, if you're told you want to set a playlist, you want to browse through music, you want to explore new stuff. So the platform, the kind of UX, or if I have to say the user design experience, that is really meant for kids, and it looks beautiful. I mean, like you can see in terms of the way it is right now. I mean, I've opened YouTube Kids and we've seen exactly how it looks and stuff like that. It's quite interesting, you know. So you have like a very nice, cool kiddie introduction. You've got a math solution if at all you're opening up the app for the first time. I've got various videos right here, which of course does not even take as much as bandwidth as most other mobiles do. I mean, most of the platforms do. So it's really cool in terms of the way it works and the kind of experience that you have for your kids. So this is something that's really important, and that's the reason I would recommend this app to those new parents who really use their mobile to give out to their children. So do check it out and let me know what you think of the app. So welcome to the news segment, guys. Moving on to our first news segment, we have got a product which is again from ASUS, which is the ROG Zephyrus. This particular laptop is a gaming laptop, quite interesting in the kind of stuff it is. Now, most importantly, since we spoke about the ASUS ZenBook being the most compact laptop in the world, this one is the slimmest gaming laptop you can find in the world. Again, now this is quite interesting because they're really redefining ultra slim and gaming laptops, and quite interesting, this particular laptop has a lot of features. But what really blew my mind, and if you are a gamer out there, 144 hertz of refresh rate. So that basically means that if at all you're playing, let's make things a little more easier. You're playing a car racing game, okay, probably NFS or any of these, and when you are driving fast in the game, of course, there is a point where you kind of feel that the car gets a little blurry, and that's because probably the frame rate is a bit more higher, and these gaming laptops can capture that. So it actually challenges the kind of graphics that the game is made out of, stuff like that. So that's really important. So 144 hertz of refresh rate is quite interesting, especially for those high performance games, and if you're a true gamer, you'll actually know the importance of that. And apart from that, the fans, now this is something that I highlighted earlier as well. The fans are anti-dust. They actually have a different channel for the dust to even come off from the laptop. So it's pretty cool, the kind of stuff that they have within this laptop. Some of the things apart from that being, they also have a 3 millisecond response time. Now that honestly, guys, is just killer. I mean, I can go on and on about this laptop because it's actually blown my mind. It uses GeForce Max Q, which is again amazing from NVIDIA. Great product in terms of graphics. Some of the things, like I said, the fan blades. Now, these fan blades are also so different. It's done by Asus again. They have a 4-way channel of cooling this particular laptop and getting out. I mean, they have 4 exhausts on a laptop, and that's quite interesting. And the whole way they built the body, I mean, I went through the whole process of them explaining that, and it was quite interesting to watch that how people actually taking this out to a different world. Now, again, most important, something that I spoke about, military grade toughness. This is a tough nut, guys. There was a guy who actually stomped on this particular laptop in front of me. He was about 72 kilos. I'm going to put up that video on my vlog pretty soon, so check that out. It's going to be insane. I mean, that kind of greatness. I mean, imagine, I just lost a hard disk. If you're following me on Instagram, you'll know that I just lost 2 TB worth of data on my hard disk because it fell down, you know, and these things are bound to happen. And when you have a really tough laptop like that, keeping in mind it's again very slim, actually takes tens and loads of boxes when you're actually moving on, you're on the go and stuff like that. So yes, it's quite interesting. I love the color combination. It's got a brilliant color combination and actually has the sense to change the keyboard, the keypads, of course the WASD keys. I mean, if at all using that primarily for gaming, and also the mouse and all the other things, and all of these can be synced in terms of the colors and stuff like that. So it's quite an interesting one. I'm sure this video will give you more information, but I really recommend this particular lap if at all you're planning to go for. So do check out the Rogue from Asus, the Zephyrus S. It's just amazing. Check it out and let me know what you think about it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, 50th episode, quite a big number, half a century. I'm really proud of WikiTechie altogether, and I hope you guys are proud of it too. And do let me know your feedback and comments on our social media platforms, and do drop me a line on Hammy Vlogs if at all you feel like you want us to review different kind of products and stuff like that. Till then, without further ado, do also stay tuned for a giveaway that's happening pretty soon next week. This is going to be something exclusively, since it's the season of celebration. You got Christmas coming in and a lot of other stuff, so stay tuned for that. Till then, guys, this is Hammy Vlog signing off. Cheerio.